With the latest Halo Infinite update that we received, we got to see some new screenshots of what to expect for the campaign for Halo Infinite. One of the images we saw was the new sniper rifle and the HUD display. Personally, this is one of my favorite images they released because this gives you an idea of what to expect when you're playing through the campaign, what kind of weapons you can use, and also how it just feels like Halo again. Because I was so inspired by this image, I wanted to take a look at this image and compare it to the older Halos with the sniper rifle and the HUD display. After looking at the sniper rifle and trying to compare it to the other ones, I'd say that it has a lot of similarities from a lot of the different games, older games, but nothing like exactly the same for one game. It's got a lot of mixture of features in it to represent Halo CE, Halo 5, Halo 4, Halo Reach, and all that. So to me, it just, it's got its own kind of unique design for Halo Infinite, but it still feels like Halo. So let's start off with the Halo Infinite sniper rifle. As you can see on the sniper rifle, the scope display is pretty wide. You can see the crosshairs in there, but mostly the horizontal crosshairs, not the vertical, which is interesting. And then just below that, you have two red arrows, one pointing to the left, one pointing to the right. Not entirely sure what that indicates, but it's just an interesting feature for it. Now moving on to the heads-up display, we can see in the bottom right corner, we have the sniper rifle and the ammo. Just above that, we have the equipment that you can use. And then right next to that, we have the secondary weapon. In the bottom left corner, we have the radar, and just behind the Halo Infinite symbol, we can see there's a measurement of distance in there. It says 59 meters. So I'm assuming that's for the objectives that you have in the campaign. So in the top middle, we can see it has the shield bar display. So you can see how full your shield is or how to encounter a battle depending on if it's full or if it's gone, just to stay alive or jump back into the battle once again. Then you can also see in the top middle and also the bottom middle, we have lines, and I think these represent the edges of the visors that you can see. Now, the nice thing about it is you can still see through them, and it's not going to be anything obtrusive or in the way. So you can see where the visor ends and where the armor starts, and it's not cutting anything off from your view. Overall, I would say the HUD display for Halo Infinite is very nice. It's very clean, very simple. There's nothing in it that would block your point of view or block the visuals for your campaign or your movement or your gameplay, which is very important when you're playing. Now, of course, for Halo Infinite, this is still a work in progress, so things could change in the future, but I would say that this overall looks very nice, and if they keep it this way, I'd be very happy. Next up, we have the Halo Reach sniper rifle. As you can see for the scope display in this one, it is also very wide. You can see the crosshairs in there, and it's got more of that green look to it. And you can see it's got a little dial at the top as well, which is different from the Halo Infinite sniper rifle. And it also doesn't have that bar on the left side as obtrusive as the sniper rifle for Halo Infinite. It's definitely not as large. For the HUD display for Halo Reach, we can see that it is definitely different compared to the Halo Infinite one. We no longer have the weapon displayed in the bottom right corner like we did in Halo Infinite. Instead, the weapons are at the top right corner. So we can see the sniper rifle and then the secondary weapon all just above that. In the bottom left corner, we still have the same thing. So we have the radar, but also your armor ability and also the measurement for distance. In the top left corner, we have the grenades and the amount that you are carrying. Now, this is different from the Halo Infinite picture that we saw. This leads me to think that when we saw the Halo Infinite picture, we saw where the equipment was, but I think also that could maybe be where the grenades are. If I'm not mistaken, that could be also a grenade. So we still have yet to find out what kind of grenades you can hold in a Halo Infinite. In the top middle, we have the shield bar display and then the health indicator, and also it looks like a compass. Overall, for the Halo Reach HUD display, you can see it is also very clean. Shows you where the equipment is, the grenades, all that good stuff. But I would say that it's not as clean as the Halo Infinite display. I'd say the only clean part of the screen that you mostly have is where your weapon is and your arms. So the bottom right and then also the middle of the screen. Otherwise, it's all taken up by your other Spartan abilities, weapons, shield bar, and your grenade. I personally like the Halo Infinite one more than the Halo Reach, I would say, because you get more of that central view for Halo Infinite, and it just feels a little more clean, not as obtrusive as Halo Reach. Next up, we have the Halo CE sniper rifle. So as you can see with the sniper rifle in this one, it also looks very similar to the Halo Reach. The scope display is also wide, and you can see the crosshairs in there, and it is also green. Also, it has the dial at the top, and it doesn't have that bar on the left side of it that is obtrusive as Halo Infinite's, and it looks very similar to Halo Reach. You can also see the reticule in this one has a dot in the middle of the circle, whereas the Halo Reach and Halo Infinite did not have any dot in the middle of the circle. This sniper rifle also looks very clean, very streamlined. Looks similar to the Halo Reach one and also the Halo Infinite one, but it's a little bit different. Now, the HUD display in Halo CE, you can see in the top right corner, we have the shield bar display and also the health bar. In the top left corner, we have the amount of ammo that you are carrying for the weapon that you have in hand and also the grenade count that you are carrying. And then the bottom left corner, we have the radar and also the distance for measurements for your objective as well. Comparing it to the Halo Infinite one, you can see that it doesn't even show what weapon that you have in hand in the display. It just shows you the ammo. Overall, for Halo CE, I would say the HUD is very nice. It's very clean. There's nothing blocking your view. I like it more than the Halo Reach one because you have more of the center of the screen that you can focus on and nothing blocking it. And I like that better. I prefer that over the Halo Reach one, but I would say it looks very clean and it reminds me of the Halo Infinite one in ways. Next up, we have the Halo 2 sniper rifle. So this one, you can see the scope display is also very wide and it has a little more green, but you don't see the crosshairs in there as well. Also has a dial at the top, just like we saw for the Halo CE and Halo Reach sniper rifle. And it doesn't have the left bar nearly as big as the Halo Infinite one. Looks also very clean and very streamlined, just like the other sniper rifles. Moving on to the HUD display, we can see it's also very clean as the Halo Infinite and Halo CE one. For the HUD display in Halo 2, in the top right corner, we have the weapon you are carrying, the amount of ammo, and also your secondary listed. In the top left corner, we have the amount of grenades that you can carry. In the bottom left corner, we have the radar and also your shield bar displayed. So you can see how this one is different from the other ones that we saw. In this one, you can actually see what kind of weapons you are carrying as compared to Halo CE, where you could not. We also have the shield bar displayed right above the radar, which we have not seen yet before in the other ones that we looked at. Also, this is the first time we are not seeing any kind of distance for your objective in the HUD display. But I would say this one also looks very clean, looks very easy to the eyes. Definitely get used to it when you're playing. And it looks very similar to the Halo CE one. Then we have the Halo 3 sniper rifle and HUD display. So you can see for this sniper rifle, it definitely gets different compared to the other ones that we saw for Halo CE, Halo Reach, and Halo 2. This one seems a little bit bigger. You can see the scope display is also very wide, but not as wide as the Halo Infinite one. And also green, you have the dial at the top as well. And this one, you can see the left bar is very large compared to the other ones that we saw, but it's very similar to the Halo Infinite one. I would say overall, this one just looks a little bulkier compared to the Halo CE, Halo Reach, and Halo 2 sniper rifle. Moving on to the HUD display for Halo 3, we see in the top right corner, we have the sniper rifle, the amount of ammo you can carry, and also the secondary weapon right underneath it. In the top middle, we have the shield bar displayed. In the top left corner, we have the grenades and how many you can carry, and the equipment that you can pick up as well. We can see the bubble shield. In the bottom left corner, we have the radar, and also the distance to your objective as well. Overall, I would say the Halo 3 HUD is very nice, it's very clean, and I think it relates mostly to the Halo Reach one in the sense that you have the right side of the screen, and in the middle of it, that is not being obstructed by any kind of equipment or shield bar or radar, just like the Halo Reach one that we saw. So I think it relates to that one mostly, but I think I like the look of the Halo 3 one just as much as the Halo Reach. Next, we have the Halo 3 ODST sniper rifle. Now, I believe this is the same sniper rifle as the Halo 3, so you can see it looks very, very similar to it, as it should be. The HUD is clearly different compared to the other HUDs that we saw in previous games. You can see that it's a little more obtrusive in your gameplay. So in the bottom right corner, we have the sniper rifle and the ammo and the secondary right underneath it. In the bottom left corner, we have the grenades and how many you can carry. And in the top middle, we have the shield display and also the compass. Now you can clearly see where the visor edges are in the HUD for Halo 3 ODST. At the bottom, you can see it crosses the entire thing and just the part of the middle of the top. I personally don't like this view. I think it's a little obtrusive for your gameplay. When I look at it for a while, I think it looks kind of ugly, and I would rather it be clean more than anything. So comparing it to the other HUDs that we saw previously, I would say this is probably my least favorite. I like more of the clean kind of view that we saw for Halo Infinite and also Halo CE and Halo 2. Next up, we have the Halo 4 sniper rifle and HUD. The Halo 4 sniper rifle, as you can see, is a lot bulkier and larger than the previous sniper rifles we saw. Comparing the size of it of the ones we've seen already is probably going to be Halo 3 because of the bulkiness of it, but I think this one is definitely bigger. You can see it has a scope display on there, which is a lot smaller in blue, and it actually has a scope circle that you can look through. And you can see in the right underneath the scope circle, there is also a red arrow to the left, but not to the right that we saw in Halo Infinite. And also you can see the left side has that big bar going across it, just like we saw for Halo Infinite. I would say the overall look of this one is definitely a lot larger than anything we've compared it to so far. Definitely feels a lot bulkier and definitely feels a lot heavier because of it when you were playing with it. Comparing it to the other ones that we saw, I would say that it's kind of ugly. I like the smaller, the more streamlined view of the sniper rifle, and this one just doesn't do that for me. Moving on to the HUD display. For the HUD for Halo 4, we have in the top right the sniper rifle and the ammo that you can carry. In the top middle, we have the shield bar displayed. In the top left, we have the grenades that you can carry. And then the bottom left, we have the radar. For this HUD display, you can see there's a lot more going on to it. We have a lot of writing in it, a lot of different numbers. You can see just below the shield bar, there are numbers in there. I think that means, amount of distance, maybe to objective, or just something displaying on the HUD that you have. I think some of those words represent the kind of equipment that you're carrying, the weapons that you're carrying, the armor that you have. It's very interesting to see those. They're a lot different compared to the other ones that we saw. We can also see for the edge of the HUD, we have a lot of lines there that indicate where the visor stops. You can see actually where the armor starts with those darker spots on the screen. We have one in the middle, the top, and then we have one at the bottom middle, and then the bottom left and bottom right. Now, I personally don't like these in your screen because I think it blocks the view a little bit and makes it feel a lot more enclosed and claustrophobic. I would prefer that those would disappear, so that makes the screen a lot wider and doesn't obtrude for your gameplay. Now, I have to admit, when I do play this game, I really don't notice it because you get used to it over time. But just looking at the images and comparing it to the previous Halo games, I would say I definitely don't like that look of it. I prefer the cleaner slate as well. I would say though the Halo 4 HUD display is probably the most similar that we've seen so far to the Halo Infinite one. You can see that there's a lot of those clear lines going through it, and a lot of those are in Halo Infinite as well, but not nearly as much for that game. Next up, we have the Halo 5 sniper rifle in HUD display. This sniper rifle is very similar to the Halo 4 one we just saw. You can see it has that smaller scope display in there, also blue screen. It also has a scope circle that you can see through. Also has a dial at the top, and that left bar is also very large. This sniper rifle is also large and bulky compared to the Halo 4 one, and it also feels heavy just like that one. Now for the HUD display, it's very similar to the Halo 4 one that we just saw as well. In the top right, we have the sniper rifle and the secondary. In the top middle, we have the shield bar displayed. In the top left, we also have the grenade count. In the bottom left, we have the radar there and the distance for measurements as well. So you can see this HUD display is very similar to Halo 4's that we just saw. There's a lot of different lines going through it, a lot of different blue parts of it that you can see. And then we also have where the armor starts, it is blacked out in the screen. Top middle is blacked out, bottom middle, bottom left, and bottom right, you can see where the armor starts. Once again, I'm not the biggest fan of this kind of visual. I would prefer if those blacked out spots were not there and you could just see the entire HUD display for the gameplay. I think it certainly blocks your visuals a little bit, and it makes it feel a little more claustrophobic, just like the Halo 4 one did. When I play this game again, I really don't notice it though, I'd have to admit. But I would say just staring at the image for a while, I definitely don't prefer this look, and I would prefer the clean slate that it has, just like Halo Infinite and the other Halo games. So there is your comparison for the main Halo games, sniper rifle and HUD display, after we received the new screenshot for Halo Infinite. Going back to the Halo Infinite screenshot we saw, I would say, again, I really like this image. Comparing it to the other Halos definitely leads me in that direction once again. It's very clean, and there's nothing obtrusive or blocking your viewpoint for the gameplay. I prefer it a lot more compared to the Halo 4 and Halo 5 HUDs, because in those ones, you can clearly see there is parts of the screen that are blacked out, and I do not like that look at all. I'm glad they're going back to the full screen that you can see the HUD display with nothing blocking it. So I thought it was really cool to look at these pictures and compare them. It's just kind of one of those things where you don't really think about when you're playing. When you actually take a good long hard look at it, you can see there are definitely some major differences in how it affects your gameplay and the visuals for the game. Let me know what you guys think for all the screenshots we just looked at and compared for all the Halo games. Which one is your favorite? Which one is your least favorite? You guys like the design of the Halo Infinite one? Please do let me know down in the comments below. That'd be great. This was definitely a fun video to do, comparing some of the history of the weapons and the visuals for the game. So thank you guys once again for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed, please give a thumbs up. That'd be great. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. See ya.